Hello and welcome to February. So I haven't actually got an awful lot to show you this month, mostly because I've been working on some larger projects, one of which I started in February, so we'll talk about that in a bit, but the other two are ones I've been working on for a little while, so I will have spoken about them before. One is the big crochet granny square blanket. It's about half the size I want it to be, and I want it to be big enough to fit over my super king size bed. So I think it will take me a while longer to do, but I don't mind that so much because it means that I've got something to do that I don't have to think about and just sort of keeps my hands busy. I did take it into work with me this week to work on during my breaks, but it's a bit too big to do at my desk comfortably, so now it's just an at-home project. The other big one I've been working on is the rainbow cardigan. I have had to put it aside for the time being because I've started running low on the yarn that I'm making it from, and I'm still working on getting through all the yarn that I already have here, so I'm putting it aside for the moment so that I can work through my other yarns, and then once I've used up enough of the other yarn, I will buy some more and finish that cardigan off. I don't mind putting it aside to wait until I've used more of my stash to allow me, as it were, it's me that's putting this rule on myself, but to allow myself to buy more yarn, because it means I can move on to other projects without feeling guilty that I haven't finished that one. So let's have a look at February. So the first thing that I made this month is a jumper. Last month I mentioned that I had frogged a jumper that I'd made previously and hardly ever wore, and I had an idea for a jumper, and this is the jumper that I made. So I finished it on the 11th of February. So I wore it a couple of times that week, and I found that it was a bit shorter than I had envisaged when I was making it, so I added another 10 rows to it the weekend after. I can't remember exactly when it was. I didn't write the date down, but I added another 10 rows, and I've got plenty of this yarn left, so I might make something matching with it, but I'm not entirely sure what I would make to match with a jumper. Maybe a hat for the winter or something like that, I'm not sure. But I've got plenty of yarn and plenty of time to figure it out. The next thing I started, and I haven't finished yet, is a balloon sleeve bolero. So last year I made a couple of these for myself. My friend Seth asked for one for her, and I'm using some of the yarn that I took from the dress that I had made that was a bit too long that I turned into a jumper. I think I should have enough left of that yarn before finishing the bolero, but time will tell. If I do have to buy a skein of it, it's not the end of the world. Because it's for someone else, I don't mind spending a little bit of money to get a bit more yarn to use up stuff that I've already got. It's mostly going well. I say it's mostly going well. It is going well. It's just not going as quickly as I would like. Knitted things do take a bit long sometimes, only because I like finishing things off, and it's not finished yet, but I have done the body and most of one of the arms. I want to get it finished because it's for someone else as well, so I'm not sort of gonna put it to the side if I do run out of yarn. The next thing that I did wasn't making anything but mending things. So I've had these socks for probably about 10 years now. They were knitted for me by my best friend's mum, and I've worn them a lot over the years. There's more than these two pairs of socks, but these are the ones that needed the attention. So all of them are going in the same place on the ball of the foot. So I got out the speed weave, which I had recently acquired, and had a go at fixing them. The best one is this one. I'll put it centrally on the screen. You'll see it a bit more detail than looking at it on here, because the size of it was good, and I'd had a bit of a practice with the first two that I'd done. The first one I did was very loose in the middle. Didn't do a terribly good job. I might undo that and redo it at some point if it doesn't feel comfortable underfoot when I'm wearing the socks. And the other two, the holes were quite big, so I had to kind of do two patches together. It didn't work as nicely as I thought it would. I think what I'm going to do is invest in a proper speed weave, because the one I got was like a cheap £10 one, but I do want to get a proper one, and a couple of different sized, I suppose they're darning mushrooms, like the plates that go with it, so that I can do one big patch rather than a couple of smaller ones, because if I'm doing visible mending I want it to look nice as well. I kind of wish I had more things to fix as well, like that was pretty much it for fixing on knitted things, but I probably do have a few things put away that have holes in that I could probably fix. Then I made this washcloth. I find them quite handy for either personal use or for house cleaning and things like that. It's made from a cotton yarn that I've had for a long while. I had no idea where I got it from. quite likely is one that was my grandmother's and was given to me after she passed away. But I like this colour, blends in with the paper quite well, unfortunately. But this colour is really good for using for washcloths and things because it's not dyed, so there's no chance of that coming off on either what I'm cleaning, if I'm using a chemical, or if it's one that's designated for my body. I'm also not going to put colour on myself. I learnt that the hard way. Once upon a time I had a very sort of dark cherry coloured one that I'd made myself, and I was using it to wash myself, and as I was putting the soap on it I noticed the dye was coming out on my hands. So thankfully I noticed before I actually put it on my face or anything, because I was going to wash my face with this and very quickly changed my mind. So now when I make these I only use like the natural colour cotton rather than anything dyed. There wasn't really any reason for it, I just wanted a little something to do at lunchtime one day in work, because I've been working on longer projects and I wanted something a little bit quicker, and I started it in the morning and I finished it by tea time. And this is during a work day as well, not while I was working but before work, during break, and then when I was home in the evening. And it was nice to have something that felt like I'd achieved something, because at the moment I have 3 projects on the go. All of them are long projects, so it just felt like I wasn't achieving anything. So it served its purpose quite well, and it will serve its functional purpose as well. And then on Sunday I made this bag. So I had an idea come to me in the middle of the night, as this happens sometimes, and I thought it'd be quite nice to make a little bag out of a granny square but fold it in so it's like an envelope. I had originally wanted to line it, I'll put this picture up on the screen a bit bigger. I had originally wanted to line it fully within the square, but I was finding it difficult to do that but also join the edges of the crochet together, rather than faffing about with trying to sew through the material and the crochet together. I just sewed the bag as it was and then made a little rectangle insert to line inside it, and then sewed that down into it. It's worked quite well. There are a couple of things I would do differently, but it looks nice. I really like the way that the back is as well. I had originally wanted to do a crochet handle as well, but past experience has shown me that it's not very good, it's not very easy. So I just used the strap that I usually use. Because I only use one handbag at a time, I can swap this handle between different bags that I've made or that I have. And it works quite well. I'm hoping that I will have a few more things to show in the next video for March, and that I make good headway in using all the current yarns that I have. I do have some ideas, so I'll see if they pan out, though each time I look in a box or on a different shelf that I've not looked on in a while I realise I have a lot more yarn than I thought I had before. One day I will put all the yarn in one place and it will make things a lot easier. Thank you for joining me, and if you would like to buy anything off my Etsy page, or if you want to follow me on any other social medias, there is a link tree down in the description below. And I'll see you in the next one.